already taken a bite, I think, legal profession. I think paralegals, first, second, third year, fourth year associates, young attorneys, certainly in transactional work, are going to have a tough time. Not just about professions or jobs or industries that are going to get just wiped out by AI.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to All Things Business. We got a special episode today, and I'm so excited about this episode. A bunch of men got together, and we Christian guys got together. We brainstormed down in New Orleans for about 5 days. I was called on with a 2-day notice to drop everything and come down if I would be there, and I said yes. And the reason why I said yes is because the people I would meet and the lives that would be changed and the camaraderie that would have been built. And I met this young man down there. His name is Matt Ward. He's an attorney. He's an entrepreneur. He's got his own channel as well. So I just wanted to share with him because I thought he was such an interesting person to talk to. So Matt, are you there?
I'm right here. How you doing, Al?
Good, buddy. How you doing today?
Good. Good to see you.
Good seeing you. Tell me how'd you get the call to come down? We met about a week or so ago. Travis gave us a call, known as a ninja. We all came down, dropped everything, ran down there just for the camaraderie. Tell me what did you get out of that weekend? Oh, that week that we're down there.
It was a random, I think a Thursday morning. I was sitting in my car having a coffee and responding to some emails on the way to the office. And Travis calls and says, "Hey, question for you." So what's up? He said, "Can you be on a plane on Sunday afternoon to New Orleans?" I said, "Let me check my schedule. We get to the office." And I checked it. Said, "Yeah, for sure." So I booked within an hour. I was booked, had hotel and flights reserved, and really I just jumped on down there. So it was very impromptu, but like we talked about, that's the kind of group of guys that we had there, right? Guys that pretty much dropped what they were doing to get down there for bigger and better things and to make more relationships. So.
Yeah. Well, with that said, tell everybody a little bit about your background. You're an attorney. How long have you been an attorney? Give us a little bit of background on yourself.
So this year will be December of this year, next month, 30 years.
Wow.
I came out of law school in 95. Thank goodness I passed the bar on the first try. So I had my ticket, my law license, my bar card in California in December of 95. So it'll be 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you start practicing? Huh?
Yeah, I say it goes fast, but I did. So when I was in law school, I made a point, and even I think going back to my senior year in college, I made a point of, I didn't know what field I wanted to go into in law. So I worked with a whole bunch of different types of law firms. Every year I would say, okay, I'm going to clerk with this one or intern. I did a business firm, bankruptcy firm, estate planning firm, a family law firm. I think my senior year of college, I clerked with a criminal defense firm to get an idea of what suited me. And so when I came out of school, I realized I kind of wanted to focus on the real estate and business law side of things. And I knew I didn't want to work for anybody. I guess that kind of, you either have that entrepreneurial spirit or you don't. But all my friends were interviewing with big law firms in LA, and they're going to go in there and, work for 80 hours a week. I said, well, if they're going to work for 80 hours a week for somebody else, why can't I work the same 80 hours a week for myself, right?
Cool.
And I'll take the profits. So I came out of law school, and against a lot of people's naysaying, you're going to fail, you got to go work for someone else and cut your teeth, I hung a shingle right out of law school and moved out to my local area and just started hammering calls and opened the phone book up and called every law firm in town. Said, I'm a new kid on the block. Do you have any overflow work? I'd love to have it. I'd like to come meet you, and I'll take any scraps you have. And that's how I built my business, client by client over the years. So
what do you think? I'm sorry. What do you think made you different? Where did that entrepreneur spirit come from? Where did you gain that entrepreneur spirit? Because most of the lawyers, they got, hey, I got to have that security of knowing I'm working for a firm and I got a check coming. What gave you that insight?
I don't know. I didn't come from, my family, was very supportive, but I didn't come from, let's say, wealth. And so I was out, doing paper routes as a young kid and, and washing cars, mowing lawns. And so I think I just had that mindset as I continued it through as I got older and went through school. And I just think you kind of train yourself, right? And, it starts, I guess, younger. but I didn't have any family support. So if I wanted to have extra spending money, I didn't get an allowance. I had to go earn it. So that's kind of, I think, how I just started to, put in the mindset even at a younger age.
Yeah. Well, you're different than most lawyers or people that are watching today and watching from around the world. They have the set way they see lawyers, and you're totally a different breed, if I can say that, of attorneys that you run into. Number one, you're very personal. Number two, I had a great time with you. Number two, you're just a good person. And when people think of lawyers, they don't see the side of you or see that side. And then an entrepreneur on top of being a lawyer.
Yeah,
So
it's funny. I tell people. I was telling Travis this again last week. I don't hang out with lawyers. I don't say don't get along with them. I get along with everybody, but I don't choose to spend my time socially or even professionally hanging out with lawyers. I find most of them, and I know I'm not trying to demean the profession. A lot of great people in the profession, but they just don't click with me in terms of the egos and some of the things. I just take a different approach to my daily life, and so I'm not part of any professional organizations. I mean, I've done it in the past, all the bar groups and functions, but as the years went by, I realized, okay, I really don't want to spend my any free time I have doing that. It was always about building my business and going beyond that in my mind. So yeah, I hear that a lot. You've said that. I've heard it from several people saying, you're really not like most lawyers. I guess that's a compliment, right?
it is. So yeah, it's very much so a compliment. Now you started hanging the shingle out. You started, taking as you say scraps of what people didn't have, and they had overload. And you took the overload in. And so how'd you build yourself up to where you're at today? Give us a little insight, because I know there's people out there curious about this now.
Well, there's really no shortcuts. Everybody wants like hey, tell me what to do, A, B, C, and D, and I'll do it. But what I did was I came out and I joined to my local community, Southern California, and I joined the business networking groups, anything I could find, the Chamber, Business Network, BNI, whatever they were. I joined those groups. I'd get up in the morning and go down there and put on my, my jacket and, coffee hour, whatever, and I would get up and speak, make my little presentation about who I am. Everyone, I was 25 years old, so I was a kid setting up amongst all these business people, and they're probably laughing at me. But I said, "Look, I had a slogan, and my slogan was I return every single phone call." And people say the biggest thing about they hate about lawyers, they don't call anybody back. You can never get a lawyer to call you back, and so I said, I think I'll run with that one. And I return all calls, and people love that. And little by little, I would just get, and I did. I mean, I made a point of, like any other business, customer service was important to me. And even before, the people were clients, if I got a referral or, someone who wanted to speak with me, I spoke with them. I called back timely. And to this day, 30 years later, my cell phone is on my business card, and I don't hide. I'm 24/7. If you want to call me, you call me. And if I'm not available, then I call back quickly. And so many people in this profession kind of hide behind the staff, and it's not even any contact numbers. And even when you call the main office, it's hard to get them on the phone. So I've taken a different approach, which sometimes works out to be more stressful, right? Because it's hard to then leave it kind of at the office, so to speak. But that's the way I've run my business.
Yeah,
I just
I
built
wish
it.
more
Like I
lawyers.
said, phone book back in the day. Back in the day when there were phone books, the yellow pages. I went to every law firm in business and real estate in this town, called them and talked. So I talked to the managing partner or the partner and said, I'm a new kid in town, so love to meet you and get some business. Took time, didn't happen overnight. And yeah, what you going back to my friends were getting those, at that time, starting salaries at like O'Melveny and Myers coming out was about 85 or 90,000 a year. And now it's much greater than that. But that was a lot of money, at that point in time that I was not getting that they were. But little by little, that kind of, shifted itself around as I built the business.
Yes. So I wish more lawyers and more schools would teach lawyers to return phone calls. Would you like to? That's very different. So that's makes you so unique, and that's something you stood on and built something. Did you ever take on any partners at some point in your career over the last 30 years?
Did I ever take on a partner?
Yeah.
Is that what you? Well,
Yeah.
not a formal partner, but I did have kind of an informal joint venture type set up years ago when I met a lawyer out here who brought me in to do some part time work for him. provided office space, and I was able to develop my own book of business. But I did some overflow work for him. Did the real estate and business work like I did, and so we developed a nice relationship. And over the years, we did kind of go from office space to office space together. We held ourselves out as partners. It was James and Ward, but we technically weren't partners. We always maintained our separate practices, but we had the camaraderie, right? And went to lunch every day and spent time together every day as if partners, as we were partners. And he passed away a few years ago. I miss him. He's a good guy. He was a good mentor to me. It cut my teeth in litigation work and break into that field, which is it's a real blood sport business in trial work and litigation, unfortunately. But yeah, Bill was a good guy. So yes, somewhat. But I've really since then, because I do so much business formation work and litigation, I see a lot of partnership disputes, unfortunately. So you got to be very, very careful with partnerships, right? Because what starts out as a cozy marriage, I've seen a lot of this stuff. Kind of everyone gets different goals, or someone's cheating the other one, and so I've really just stayed for most of my career after Bill and I split, just solo.
So give me an idea of what got you to go into litigation and also into real estate. What, as a lawyer, what got you to know that side of the law?
I work with a firm. They were actually in Beverly Hills when I was doing my second year of law school, I think, and they did a real estate and business work. And it was kind of one of my trial and error things where I just want to work with that kind of a firm to see if I enjoyed it. And I just felt myself kind of drawn to that kind of work. I would go to court with those guys and brief them and carry stuff. And I was a grunt, but it got me into the courtroom, got me seeing them, and it excited me. And I've been articulate, been a pretty good writer, and so I thought, okay, this is something that I would like to do and focus on. And that was really that was it. It just was that kind of natural from there. Because like anything else, law, there's so many different areas you can be involved in, like medicine, other professions. You can't do it all. You can't be good at all the different subsets. So I just chose real estate and business. And it's in hindsight worked out because I've done some other real estate transactions on separate stuff with clients and friends. And I enjoy, that's really the purpose of the channel too. I started a couple of years ago was to talk about finance and business, which is what I just enjoy, We talked about that a bit in New Orleans, about how you got started and your mindset for true entrepreneurialism,
Yeah, we're gonna touch on your channel in a second. What kind of experience you think through the years to shape you who you are today? What kind of experience would you say you had to shape you to who you are today?
I mean, what experiences in my business?
Yes.
Yeah. The butt kickings, the ones that you think what you're doing. You'll have a case where you think it's a slam dunk or a motion or something before the judge, and they wipe the floor with you on the ones you think are slam dunks, and the ones that you're worried about. Sometimes you breeze right through. So it's being humble, but also being humbled. A lot of ego in this profession, and in any given day. So yes, I think it's the lessons you learn from the losses more so than the wins, right? Some of the failures, you learn more from failures than you do successes. And so that's how you
Yeah.
get that's how I had to in this profession kind of get my teeth cut, getting my butt kicked in some cases, right?
Okay.
You don't make that same mistake twice. Oh, wait a minute, I remember that. I did that there, and we're not going to do that one again.
Well, speaking of that, let me ask you this question. If you could go back in time and give your your present self some advice about the past, what would that be? If you can go back in the past and give your present self some advice that would help you, what would that be?
Slow down. I was always that guy. Even before I got my law degree, I was always that guy that maybe didn't enjoy the present as much, thinking I can't wait to strive to this next level, whatever that was. Whether it was graduating high school, or getting your driver's license, getting out of high school, getting into college, getting into law school. It never ends, right? There's always something next that you want to do if you want to be successful, if your mind works that way. But it's just kind of slow down and not try to have it all at once. There were a period of years where I got too big, too fast, and thought, the gravy train would never end. And, went through a couple of downturns, economic downturns, and again, you lose. I mean, you pain teaches, right? Lessons. So I think that's, going back in hindsight, I would say you don't need to go buy that fancy sports car. So I remember I called 2 years out. I wanted this Porsche. Called my banker and said, I need this car. He says, do you really need? At that time, it was $50,000. He said, Matt, do you really need that car right now? He said, I'll give you the loan, but are you sure you don't want to wait? I said, no, no, no. So I've always kind of been that guy. And sometimes it works out. Usually it does. But patience, taking time, not trying to have it all at once, and learn. So that's
Yeah.
kind of, I don't know if I answered your question, but
I'm gonna throw a little fun in here before we get to the channel. So, did Saint Banker approve your Ferrari?
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, no. That's one lesson I learned. Is you gotta pretty much pay. If you can't pay cash for your toys, you probably shouldn't be getting the toys.
Yeah,
And that
and
does go back to, you know what I'm saying.
yeah, you got that pretty yellow Ferrari. That's a beauty too.
Yeah, it's
And a couple $100,000 is not bad. You pay cash for it. I love it.
really enjoying
Yeah.
that. So, but again, I've had times where you do hear a lot of people come out and they paint a picture that everything's always been perfect and they had all the lessons and they knew everything. But you got to make mistakes. I did. I had some tough years where the practice was doing real well, but overextended, didn't really pay attention, didn't look down the road further enough. So not making those mistakes again. So be able
Yeah.
to that's what happening. I think with a lot of younger society right now is they're just financing a lifestyle that they just can't cash those checks and they're getting into massive debt and that's what's going on. So
Yeah, hiccups. It's good to hear from it from a. I'm sure the audience around the world is listening in. They're excited because they heard something they never heard before. That even lawyers get in over their head sometime, and not saying your ego because I know you don't have one that like most people do, but or attorneys. You went out and got over indebted, and things didn't work out. Things takes a slow period, even as an attorney. And I think people don't realize that you go through the same things the average person go through, and sometimes getting over the head as well. So that's amazing that you said that. So I know people have never heard that before, and that's like wow, I didn't think about it that way. So you gave that a new twist. So go ahead. You going to say something?
no, I was just saying, a lot of times, what you see, especially now where, everything, I don't even know what's AI anymore. I was watching the video the other day on YouTube and I was showing my daughters and they're like, Dad, that's AI. It's not even real. So what are you talking about? They're like, no, look at its foot. Didn't you see the little foot in the thing glitch or whatever? I said, okay, so what is real anymore, right? So, a lot of what you see and these young generations see and hear, is sometimes is fake too, right? And so just because someone drives a fancy car, whatever, doesn't mean that they're not heavily indebted, don't have their things in order, and are just, trying to impress their neighbors. So, there's a disconnect right now, I think, in society with that, especially because of YouTube and all these, and TikTok and, Instagram, right? It's kind of unfortunate it's going down that road. But anyway, that's a whole other discussion for a different day, right?
Yeah, so unfortunate. So let's talk about how did you fall into getting your channel started, Ox Talk, and tell us about that, and then we're going to talk about how you got Ox Talk, the name Ox Talk.
How did I start the channel? Well, you and I were discussing this last week in New Orleans. I went to in Las Vegas, your neck of the woods, the Silver Symposium. It's been about I think it was 2 years ago, October, and I had been following Travis's channel, Economic Ninja, for a while, and they advertised that I was going. So I'm going to go out there and meet some guys, and I didn't have any plans of starting a channel at that point. I just love silver. I love gold. I was learning about cryptos a bit. And I thought I'll go meet some cool people. And so I went out there, and Travis and I had communicated a little bit before that, but I thought, well, I want to get a chance to meet him, shake his hand. Anyway, I left that few days and that conference, and on the way driving back from Las Vegas by myself, I said, I'm going to start a channel. There were a couple of guys there. Travis was one of them. A couple of guys I met that were just starting new channels. And they said, look, why wouldn't you do that? You have a background. You come with some credibility. You can share a different perspective about things, and just try it. And so I did. And I actually came up with the name. You can get to that next question. But on the way home from Las Vegas, by the time I got home, I had the name set. And the next day, I think I launched the channel. So that was about 2 years ago.
All right. So how'd you tell on the drive back home? How'd you come up with the name? Tell everybody that. This is the I mean, I've heard the story, but
I told you, right? Yeah, yeah. So I working out for years at the gym. years ago, one of the trainers that ran some of the classes said, you're strong as an ox. And so I got this nickname at the gym, Matt the Ox. And not because I wanted it, but that became like, like everybody, called me as Matty the Ox or Matt the Ox. So I thought, well, I'm going to just call the channel OxTalks. It just rhymed and it was kind of, I guess, goofy, but it just, in my mind, it made some sense. And it was kind of tongue in cheek. And it did have some meaning to me because of, the nickname I got. So anyway, that's how I came up with the name for the channel.
Yeah, I think it's unique. I think it's very unique, and it's different, and I love the idea. And by the way, I'm a subscriber, and I love what you talk about on your channel. A lot of the current events, what's going on with the news, the world, the media, gold, silver, and speaking of the silver symposium here in Vegas, I was at the same show. I didn't get a chance to meet you. That's when I was down there drooling over Travis, and I've been following him for a while, and I just love his material, and that's when we started hooked up and had lunch and became friends after that. So, and birds of a feather do flock together.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Met
Yeah,
some good people that was chaotic. And yeah, you didn't get a chance to meet that time, that weekend, but it was a tremendous experience, I thought. And it just gave me, I think, some confidence to say, I'm going to start the channel. And if, not everything you do is successful, but I said, I'm going to do something, try to post something as much as I can. And I have been for a couple of years, I have 650 videos now, I think. So that's not every day, but I try to do several a week as things roll out and present themselves to me. And it's been fun. It's been creative. I think you and I discussed this. It's allowed me to kind of get back into my creative side because law really stunts your creativity. I used to be big into arts and crafts, and I used to build models as a kid. And me going into this law, everything becomes so hyper analytical that you kind of get away from that whatever side of your brain is the creative artistic side. And so this has allowed me to do that because I read something, I'll say, okay, I'm going to talk about it, give it a little bit my analysis, my spin, not spinning, changing the facts, but the way I, let's say, interpret it and perceive it, and how it might be helpful or impactful on other people. So it's allowed me. I was telling Travis this too. It's allowed me to kind of tap back into that side. So I look
yeah.
forward to doing this stuff more than I do working on my files. That's the problem.
I know we discussed that, but like I said,
Yeah.
you're different. You're so unique. That's why I wanted you on the channel because you're not a typical lawyer or carry the attributes of that, and you're also fun, outgoing, and like I said, the creativity. You gravitate to. Let me go back to basics. Let me go back to having some fun. And then, as we were talking over those 5 days, how your daughter kind of comes in and show you how to do technical stuff, like Mr. Clemens does stuff for me because I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
talking about the family a little bit. How'd you meet your
My
wife?
wife. Oh, my
How'd you
wife.
meet your beautiful wife?
We met here locally in this community. She grew up in Montana, actually, and then she moved to California when her mom moved here. And we had met locally through, I think, through a personal, acquaintance or something. Made the introduction, and we were both, ready to have a family. And we dated for about a year. And her name was Leah. Dated for about a year, and then we got married, and now we have two beautiful daughters, 18 and 20. That time goes real fast. In fact, my oldest daughter is back today and tomorrow from school, spending a couple of days at the house. So, but yeah, we've been married now. I think it's going on 24 years.
Wow, what a blessing. What a blessing. What
Yeah,
a blessing. So the channel's doing good, law's doing good. Matter of fact, you want to do more of the channel than you do want to practice law
I'm enjoying the channel.
and have some fun in your life.
Yeah, exactly. Enjoying the channel.
What are some of the fun activities you like to do on the weekend with the family?
Well, I do a lot of physical fitness stuff. We enjoy doing walks. Now like one of my daughters has now moved away, but we really enjoy doing physical fitness stuff together, being outdoors. We have our little beagle dog that we take out for walks. We enjoy going out to eat, just spending time as a family, hanging out by the pool in the backyard. It's just kind of nice to just have downtime and just share and talk. And we do make a point many times a week, if not every night, sitting down for a family meal. I miss the fact that my oldest daughter is not part of that now, but I think that's important. So we do, no matter what, pretty much every night, sit down, have a meal, talk about what everyone's day, what happened, what transpired, and good, bad, whatever it is. So That's another discussion we should have at some point about, the family unit and why I think that's really important. So,
As I look back and spend some time with you, I know you're at the gym a lot because I know the 4 or 5 days we're together down there in New Orleans. You made a practice of staying on track, going to work out, eating right, getting in early, and that was so amazing. So, Matt, let me ask you this question: being an attorney, how is AI affecting your industry as an attorney?
it's a good question. I would have about 2 years ago. I had a run-in with a lawyer that tried to use some AI case citations and something, and all the briefing was wrong. The case citations that were the lawyer used they weren't even real cases. So at that point, a couple of years ago, I thought this is nonsense. I will tell you right now, it's gotten insanely good. And the quality and quantity of information that you can get at your fingertips. I have clients of mine, longtime clients and good friends calling me, and they're actually embarrassed. They say, "Hey Matt, we're using ChatGPT to draft some of these documents now and to review some of this stuff. We feel real bad about that." And I said, "Look, I get it. I understand. I mean, I use it for some things, so I got to be careful. But I mean, it's already taken a bite. I think legal profession. I think paralegals, first, second, third year, fourth year associates, young attorneys, certainly in transactional work, are going to have a tough time. I think these law firms are going to start getting the word and cutting it. My brother-in-law is an insurance defense lawyer, and he says their clients, the insurance companies, know what's going on, and they want them to use AI to draft briefs now. They're signing waivers because they want costs cut. Okay, so hey, how do you bill something that you can have done on AI in 3 minutes? How's a lawyer bill that 3-4 hours? It's not gonna affect trial lawyers. Some of that stuff's indispensable, right? AI is not going to walk into court and pick a jury and argue a case, but a lot of parts of this profession, I think, are going to be, impacted pretty
Wow.
substantially. Yeah, and,
So,
and, and I feel bad for these young law students that are coming out of law school with massive amounts of debt. They're going to be coming into the job market at a time when AI is, I think it's going to revolutionize the legal profession, because what you would have, literally have five or so. Can I give you an example? I'll give you a
sure,
2 minute
please
example.
do.
I had a lawsuit come in about 2 months ago, 97 pages. It was a real estate fraud case. And I was looking at the lawsuit for my clients, the defendants. I was dreading doing this project. So I was just going to take me a couple of days to dig in all these exhibits and promissory notes and purchase contracts. And it was fraud allegations. I wanted to see, could I challenge this pleading? And so I thought, I'm just going to try this ChatGPT. And I uploaded it as a PDF. I said, I want you to pretend you're the best litigator in California, real estate litigator, and I want you to analyze this complaint and the exhibits and let me know all my potential avenues for attack. And as I'm uploading it in, it's spitting out an 8-page analysis. It was food for thought, how quickly it was able to digest and assimilate every single one. Like I said, 100 pages of fine print exhibits. And it teased out stuff that I frankly, I wouldn't be able to find it, and it would have taken me days and days to find it. Page 9 of Exhibit C is inconsistent with page 3 of the allegation of the lawsuit. Right? It's insane. So I think it's a big problem. Some people might look at it as a blessing, but some are going to look at it as a curse.
Wow. So the law profession is
We'll
going to
see.
change drastically.
I think it's going to have to. It's going to have to adapt, because clients are simply, like I said, why would a client pay a lawyer, $4,000 to draft something that they can, have drafted up and then have their lawyer. I have clients now calling me saying, "Hey, can you just take a look at this?" We, of course, they have ChatGPT draft it, and then they want me to just kind of give it a blessing. And lawyers are going to have to find out how to navigate this environment, right? Because ethically, morally, and everything else that goes along with it. Plus, it's eating into business.
Wow. Well,
So yeah, it's
folks, there
crazy.
you have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's the question. It's a great question. And I know a lot of people out there wondering, and because you're in that profession, you're on the other side of that wall and you see it differently than people who cheering it on to understand, what the implications of the whole matter would be for everybody worldwide. That's
Yeah.
powerful.
Oh
Wow.
yeah. This is just in
Wow.
my profession. Imagine about professions or jobs or industries that are going to get just wiped out by AI, right? But
Yeah.
I had a guy call me the other day and say, "What would you focus on if you're coming out of law school?" I said, "You have to focus on something if you're going to be a lawyer you're indispensable for the most part, you know." And guys drafting contracts, they're going to be the first to go. You know, young associates researching, you know, something. I mean, those jobs are going to disappear, I think.
Wow. Wow.
We'll see. We'll see.
AI.
I'm thankful I'm on my way out of the profession. I'm about to, you know, be done, but it's interesting.
Yeah. You know, AI and robots. I saw a robot doing surgery. I mean, I'm thinking some of these surgeons are going to be, that's another
Yeah, I
industry
have
that will be
I have a
impacted.
friend of mine, a good friend of mine that I work out with. She's part of our workout group, and she's a brain surgeon. And she shows me now these they have these like robots and stuff. They're actually replacing what they're doing of mapping these brain things and tumor. It is crazy in the medical profession what AI is doing.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah.
Well, our world's changed and we got to learn how to change with it. And I guess that's why you're going to become a YouTuber.
Yes, sir. Everyone, for our channel. Thanks, Al.
Get that channel going. Get that channel going.
Real good question. Good question.
Thank you, sir. I want to end this call with just a couple things. I want you to share with it, you know, where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years? What do you see yourself doing?
You know, I don't really know. I mean, I really would like it if I could do more with the channel and travel more with my wife. Not be so tied to the office as much. I really don't see myself. You know, a lot of people would say, "Well, I can't wait to retire." I'm just not one of those guys. I really couldn't see myself saying, "Okay, I'm just going to stop doing work." My mindset is I do get, you know, I have nervous energy and I want to be doing something, creating something, helping somebody to solve a problem. I would like to not be doing law at all. So maybe whatever else will fill the time, fill the gap, traveling, the channel, you know, I don't know. But I really want to get out of not all law, but the litigation side. I'm done 30 years, you know, fighting the courtroom battles, and that wears on you. It's kind of a thankless, unfortunately. I love the transaction stuff because you solve problems, right? Representing business guys like yourself, doing deals. The litigation is tough. It's tough, you know, when parties are already in court, no one's happy. There's never really a winner, and it grates on you, you know, after a long time. So yeah, I want to be out of litigation completely. Actually, not even. I want to do it sooner than 5 years if I can. So.
All right. Sounds
That's
like a winner.
why I don't want to be. That's what I don't want to be doing. What do I want to be doing? I mean, more traveling. You know, just more enjoying the time.
Yeah. Well, that gives you a level balance head, and also in business because you understand. You know, you do that, but however you want to do more fun stuff, things you want to do is more creative, spend more time with your family, which give you a lot of full life balance, which I think is amazing and awesome. And that's what makes you that's what makes you different, man. You just, I mean, when you said you're an attorney, I'm like, this dude's not an attorney. He's too much fun. You
Yeah, we
know,
had some
you're
fun.
just too much fun.
Looking forward to the next outing.
Yes.
Well,
Well, I think they're looking at going out of the country. I don't. I've heard a couple rumors, so we'll see how that works out. But my
all right.
friend, I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule today. And I know that you know, being a litigator and also in real estate transactions and things you do, and trying to balance with the family and enjoying your beautiful cars on beautiful days like today on that long stretch of land down there in Southern California is always nice. So I just want to say thank you for your time. Thank you for insight. Thank you for taking time out. Ladies and gentlemen from around the world, we want to thank you for tuning in today and share this with 7 or 8 people and let them see there's other attorneys that like Matt out here. Matt Ward is just amazing individuals who out there doing things not only for the community but also helping people, and also understand that he wants to get creative for what he does and he wants to spend more time on his channel. And I tell you, go back and subscribe to his channel, Ox Talk. Go back and subscribe. Anything you want to say in closing?
I really appreciate you inviting me on the show. It meant a lot to me. You got a tremendously successful, you know, show, and I know we talked about your businesses, and so look up to you a lot, and I appreciate being here and having the opportunity. Okay, and hope to do this again soon.
We shall, my friend. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in from around the world. Take care. God bless as always. We'll see you at the top. Always see you over the top. Have a blessed day. God bless. Bye-bye.